match is now officially a Judy Bagwell on a forklift match.
I can see my fantasy, I'm so consumed in bed. What I see takes over me, I'm blind beyond repair.
Of all the things I've ever said on this podcast, the one thing that I've said that is true is that Maven had the best theme song of all time.
How do you not just
Not even a
get
question.
some air guitar going on into that? Kyle O'Reilly,
I got the air drums going, man. You know me. Hey, everyone. Welcome to On a Forklift. My name's Clinton Davis. This is Ethan Hubbard. We are On a Forklift podcast on Twitter. How's everyone doing tonight?
Absolutely fantastic. Isn't it amazing that in this day and age, we can just jump on here and end up with all the wrestling that we have. Back in the day, you used to have to go dirty for it. Ask somebody for videotapes. Have somebody on the West Coast videotape the NWGP stuff or NJPW stuff and send it out to you. You had to get all the ECW bootlegs from Gibraltar. You had to go to mud shows, and now we have this beautiful thing, the World Wide Web, and we can find whatever the hell we want to watch, whenever we want to watch it.
So you're getting a microphone for Christmas. That's what you're getting.
Is this a little bit better if I speak into my microphone like this?
It's a little clacky. It's a little clacky, like a little kind of shit. So unplug that shit and get it hooked back in. Well, I bring on our special guest this week. Oh yeah, you're muted already, fucko. Let me bring him on. Everyone, welcome to the stream. Russ. Hey, Russ.
What's up, guys?
Hey, buddy. What a great intro.
Yeah, I had to work really hard on that here in the basement. So excited to be back. What a great time. God damn it, Cody Rhodes. Cody, I can't. I'm upset. You gave me a topic that you wanted me to come on for on this episode. And then I saw your co-host mention that we're going to apparently talk about the thing that had me the most upset in professional wrestling this week. And I thought I was going to get through the whole day without being upset. And now I just want to crawl in a ball and I want to scream. You want
to go hug Gritty?
No, no. See here, I can't. So I don't know if you guys saw this, but over on the site that I write for when I'm doing Philly stuff, crossingbroad.com, we had a thing about how there was a guy who was yelling at Gritty at the last game. He's freaking out at Gritty, yelling, sit down, I didn't pay to come see you. And, Gritty kind of does like the tear. And then you can just kind of feel the guy on the inside of the costume just kind of going, oh, man, this really sucks. And then just kind of sits down. Good. Gritty needs to be brought back down to earth a little bit. The guy inside the Gritty costume. Gritty's fine. The guy in the Gritty costume has a lot of stuff. Some of it is public knowledge. Some of it is not. And let me just tell you, it's not all great. Not all great in Gritty land. So
generally, people that spend most of their lives in costumes like that, they got some skeletons in the closet.
Let me ask you something. Wouldn't you say that you're technically in your own kind of costume right now? You're inside of a human embodiment. You're already part of a costume, part of a character yourself.
Right? You guys know that your bones are wet?
Get the fuck out of here. Yo, please, sir, dust me wets.
Clint, I think this was you who shared the TikTok of the guy with the woodpecker fact.
Yes.
And first of all, blew my mind. All right. That was upsetting. I guess to catch people up. Apparently, woodpeckers...
Justin Danger Neely, I think his name is, on TikTok.
Woodpeckers wrap their tongue around their brain to prevent traumatic brain injury so that while they're smashing their face into a tree, it prevents their brain from rattling around. So I showed that to my kids, who then, of course, went to school today and told both of their teachers, who were like, I didn't know that. And I don't know how to feel about it. And so do I have the weird kids who go to school with knowledge about woodpecker brains? Apparently I do. That's my fault.
Like teachers didn't have enough reasons to go home and imbibe themselves of something or on something else, but now they've got kids asking them questions about woodpecker brains. Oh,
listen,
man.
dude, that guy's changed my life. I get really mad if I stick around on a TikTok for more than 5 seconds and he doesn't pop up with an interesting fact.
In fairness, like if I had a student who had showed up with like a cool fact, I'd be like, all right, that's neat. The best I ever had was I had one kid who would show up every day and show me a dank meme, as he would say. And then it was like some of like the weird, I mean, like there are memes, there are weird memes, and then there were like this kid memes. But one of my favorite things that ever happened, this
Joey.
just gives you an idea of like the future of the nation. This is like 6 years ago. This one kid always flirted with this girl. And I would always say, like, you guys are going to get married. It's going to be fine. Like, good for you. Just invite me to the wedding. I enjoy dancing at weddings. And one day this kid goes, I'm going to have 8 kids when I grow up. And I said, God help us. And he goes, I think you mean Allah because I'm Jewish. Yep. Future of the nation, ladies and gentlemen. Cheers. This is just water, but you know.
L'chaim.
L'chaim.
Oh my God. I do fear because, man, just sitting at work and listening to some of these kids talk while I'm selling their parents a phone. No faith. No faith.
No.
You can be the best educator in the world. I have no faith that you are shaping the minds of tomorrow.
Definitely,
Which
you
is
shouldn't
why-
have any faith. It's a Tuesday, and they have a child in a store buying a cell phone.
Which is why I now write about sports betting and Philadelphia sports, ladies and gentlemen. At some point, you just say, I got a tap. We outie. We're good. It's great.
Yeah.
Should we talk about Philly's relationship with Santa Claus?
Can we talk about like overblown stereotypes about cities that are like mostly inaccurate? Like, do
we
go
all
there?
we all tape octopuses to our chest.
I don't fucking do that
And I know you don't, but that's because
I'm a
that
Bruins fan.
You're not real. Bruins don't exist.
Well, now a
That's a
Kraken
fake-
fan.
That's a fake name for bears, and that's just weird. That means you're into tentacle porn. But speaking of something that actually introduced just way before we even get into wrestling on this show, because we're gonna give you a soapbox here in a minute to talk about when that post happened. I wasn't saying that we were talking about that. I meant you're talking about the Cody Rhodes Malachi Black. We want to hear your opinions on it. But first off, gentlemen, did we all see the Halo Infinite campaign gameplay today?
Yes.
And what brought the two gentlemen on the screen, not including myself, together was Halo 2, if I am correct. So if you don't, Russ, if you haven't got a
RJ
chance to
from
check that out.
P-ville, man.
Yeah, Clint, but do you remember who you used to play with? It wasn't just me. Do you remember who you used to play with? Do you remember who used to camp underneath? God, what was the map? What was the map that was it? Zanzibar? No.
Yeah.
Halo 2. No, but it was the one that had like the cave in the back that you would come up. And
all I remember is just you constantly going, you just got pooned by an 8-year-old.
That's because my name was Ralphie Jones from Pleasantville, Indiana, and you just got pwned by an 8-year-old. Wicked sweet. I found the rocket launcher.
See, the best thing, and this is why I miss those Halo days, prior to the responsibilities of, being a dad, and having a mortgage and bills, is I just miss terrorizing like 20-somethings as a high school kid, acting like an 8-year-old. And I had the whole story worked out too. RJ from P-ville, Ralphie Jones from Pleasantville, Indiana. It was good. It was a good cover. But I used to like to go when it was like the Plant the Bomb, whatever that game was. I used to like to go and like our team would actually try to go win. And as part of that, I would like to go sit under the opposition's base and I would just scream. And I would try to like strike up conversation where like you would do the open chat instead of like the hit the black button for like your team chat. And so they would all be like, I would hear them because nobody wants to hold the black button while they're, moving around and trying to get their defenses set up. And it's just me like hanging out in like a back corner just within earshot.
Hey guys, just wanted to ask you, what's your favorite My Little Pony? Because I'm not saying I'm a My Little Pony fan. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but can you enlighten me just a little bit here? Or your favorite Care Bear, perhaps?
And then we'd always get to the end of the game, and somebody'd be like, "You're not even old enough for this game. Get off this game!"
Like, that's very offensive. I should be allowed to pwn noobs.
The good old days of Xbox lobbies.
I'm so glad that second episode of being on here, I've already derailed things. Last time
Back when you could say what you want and the internet couldn't still hit you with the repercussions of those things. Man, there has to be databanks upon databanks of shit that's said in chat room or said on games that nobody should ever hear.
So do you remember when I was on this show the first time, I said to Ethan that the snowball, I swear I said the snowball was like the bane of my existence. Didn't I say this? Am I crazy? I swore I said
look at
You
Yeti
probably
X.
did. Is this better now?
I guess.
Yeah,
wait, that's a Yeti X? Hold on a second.
I got a Yeti
I'm
X.
literally not on this thing. I'm on my laptop, or I'm on my
I'm
laptop.
a little bit nervous. I've got the just the Yeti here. And the problem with the Yeti is that the USB C, no, it's USB B or USB A, whatever it was, like the chubbier
fat
port. One. That always like there's some kind of issue with the wire or with the connection itself, and sometimes I mute and then I have to like set things back up. But we're both rocking nice Yetis. I think we should I don't know, maybe we should get Ethan a mic. Maybe
Christmas plans are in motion already for this motherfucker.
Okay.
And
you just let me know, like if we need a GoFundMe or something, I'm here for it. I will gladly contribute to it.
Well, actually, I've got a present for you from the last time that you were on here. It finally arrived. Because I've gotten into collecting these now. I got you the Penta L0M one. Yeah, it's actually got the removable hands so he can do that.
No! Stop it.
Yeah.
That's going to go in my boys' room. They'll be so excited.
I got this one. I found the MJF one for myself. And then a person that I used to work with at GameStop got me the Sheeta one. They're on the right back there. With all the wrestling pop figures that I've gotten over the years.
Can you imagine if like your MJF doll goes like Child's Play, and like one night you just kind of hear the rattling of the closet? Go, Clint! I'm better than you, and you know it.
I'd come instantly. I like being degraded like that.
Does that have the Dynamite Diamond ring?
No. Wait, hold on.
I mean, he's the only one that's had it. I don't know why it wouldn't.
I'm going to start a GoFundMe for an actual diamond ring for the...
Yeah, his only comes with a microphone. But I want the Darby Allin one with the skateboard. I want that one.
Is it just a tech deck?
I hope so.
Ooh,
or I can just buy a Darby Allin figure and put him on a tech deck. I have got dozens of those.
Tony Khan, you hearing this shit? We're collabing. We need you to hook those up with tech deck and just send your future on the way. Who needs wrestling? We're in the figure business.
I'm upset that Tony Khan didn't listen to some of the things that we had to say a few weeks ago. I feel like we could have avoided a lot of the problems that have found their way.
I don't know what he has better to do in life than listen to a couple 30-year-old shit talk his promotion about their biggest star.
I wouldn't say their biggest star. Just don't have. Okay, so you progress. I'm gonna get into it because it's bugging the shit out of me.
Hold on, pause. Before you go there, just really quick, were you guys upset about Powerhouse Hobbs losing to Orange Cassidy?
No, not at all.
No, because neither one of them was winning that tournament. That was the thing.
No, whoever.
No, but I was, because doesn't that set up against Moxley?
Oh yeah, and Orange Cassidy's gonna get squashed.
Yeah, but I would have loved to have seen Powerhouse versus Moxley.
But the thing is that
I want to see Powerhouse getting like actual legitimate matches. Like when I was in New York and I saw him against Punk, like that was such a great, to me, like a great setup for like what he's supposed to be and like what he could be. And like you see the progression a few years down the line of like, this dude's got the makings of a star. And for me, I'm kind of like, I'd like to see that. And him losing to Moxley in the tournament doesn't do any damage. I don't know. I was kind of bummed, but we can get into this thing.
Here's my thing. Whoever won between those two was getting squashed, because I think Moxley is just going on this murder spree. Because 10 in the tournament. No, 10's getting fed. 10's getting fed to Moxley, and then I think he's gonna it's gonna be like 2 minutes max with Orange. But I've been wrong before. But in an ideal world, I think that Moxley should squash his way to the finals to go up against Bryan Danielson. Spoiler alert.
Oh, yeah.
That was the notebook page, so.
So this bugs me. You've got essentially a 3-week redemption arc here for Cody. Why was it only that? What was the point? There was 0 point to rush this. There was absolutely no point to do that. And I think you damaged the character of Black by doing that. You took a guy who was unstoppable and went, all right, Cody got in the ring and got slapped around by a couple of people. Now he's good to go. Arn's got a Glock in his back seat. Like, that's who can, like, yeah, that was you had 2 good weeks of building it up, and then you're just like, hey, we're going to do this time. Nobody wanted to see that. Nobody wanted to see him win. You heard the crowd reaction. The crowd reaction was horrible to it.
Mm-hmm. But
this is kind of what happened with.
But they were cheering
right?
during the match. That's what matters.
But like, in fairness, like leading up to Cody Malachi 2, there was really no build at all. It was just like kind of out of nowhere. They're gonna meet in Arthur Ashe. There was nothing. Like Cody had been off TV. This one kind of made sense, but like, the real shame here is that it felt like you could have gone into the full delusion. Like you could have really done a dive all the way into the pool of delusion because you, and this is honestly something that like kind of bothered me because it's something that I feel like other podcasts didn't hit correctly. I don't think the commentary team kind of hit correctly. Like there were questions about, well, why is there a TV crew when Arn Anderson's burning the tie? That was at the Philly show that I was at. Like, why is he outside the house? Why does he have a camera crew? Well, it's easy. It's because they're filming Roads to the Top. Like, there are cameras all around, right? Like, you could have tapped into that. They didn't, whatever. The thing that bothers me here is, like, you've got this whole redemption arc that no one asked for. You've got, like, I actually thought the nicest moment was Red Velvet smacks him. Mm-hmm. Cody finally kind of snaps. And I thought Cody was going to leave the gym, and that was going to kind of do, like, the question of, are Cody and Arn on the same page? And the way that ended, it was like, oh my God, they're really going to try to like force feed this like Rocky montage. Like seriously, they're going to do it. Guys, if I said to you between Cody Malachi 2 and Cody Malachi 3, who's the person who got over the most?
It's Malachi.
That wasn't, or see, I think there's somebody else. The person who got over the most is Arn.
Yeah.
Arn Anderson cut the best promo. Arn Anderson had the most memorable moment. Arn Anderson's the guy who had everybody talking because of the Glock. Arn Anderson was also the guy who the week before or week and a half before had everybody talking because he called Cody Hollywood. Like, Cody had nothing to do with this. And so it's like when all the shine's going on the coach who had walked away and said, I don't coach losers. And then 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, it's like everything is all kosher again. Yeah, it's rushed. It's weird. Like I don't know where they're taking this because it felt like, and correct me if I'm wrong, like it felt like Malachi was done with Cody, hence the Dante Martin fight. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it kind of felt like that didn't really make a ton of sense. We talked about like the 7 deadly sins thing about how like that could have been a cool way to go. Like Dante Martin, to me, there was nothing wrong with him. I don't totally understand the decision there. It was a good match, but I'm just kind of like, it sort of petered out. It felt like they didn't know where to take it. And they had really hoped that Cody was going to get over and that this montage thing was going to work and that it was just going to be they were going to blame certain crowds for the response. But like, I don't get it. I don't.
I don't
get it.
I think it's
like on Rampage, Rampage when Cody came out and there was that big pop. They weren't popping for Cody. They were popping for Arn.
Well, they popped for Arn when he came out and did the Glock thing. I do think I'll disagree on one thing. I do think that the Cody fans in the audience popped for Cody. Mm-hmm. I think that if nothing else, like even if you don't like Cody, the idea of having those 4 guys in the ring together is exciting. Like I would probably cheer in that moment too, not for Cody. I'd just be like, this is cool. Mm-hmm. Like Malachi showing up unbeknownst to anyone and like looking at Andrade and looking at Pock, like that was a cool thing. And I thought it was kind of unpredictable. Like, is he going to spit? I thought he'd spit at one and kick the other. And then you'd be like, well, you have this fight tomorrow. Do you guys, if you had booked this thing out, wouldn't it have made more sense to do the Cody Malachi thing first, part 3, and then to transition it into what we saw on Rampage? Like, wouldn't it have made more sense? Malachi is in trouble in the 3rd matchup. Andrade comes out unexpectedly. You're like, this is kind of weird. And it's kind of setting up this like, is he coming out to help Malachi? Like, did he enlist Malachi or did Malachi enlist Andrade's help? And then Pock comes out and it kind of goes crazy. And then the next day you see everything kind of play out more. like to me, it almost felt like a weird sort of order of operations. Like I don't necessarily think it worked. I don't get it.
And my thought process on it is that Malachi thought he was done with Cody.
Yeah,
so he was moving on.
Yeah. Well, so here's mini booking. This is what I would do. What I would have done. I wouldn't have done the third match yet. I do like following that if you flip flop them, they make a lot more sense in regards to it. But I think after you go through with the Cody vignettes, what you need him to have this chase moment. Like, I need that third match for the validation. Arn does everything of like, hey, don't go after him. Don't go, like, I'm done with you if you go after him. So Cody's on this like mental breakdown of, I have to have that match. I have to get it. And at every turn he's foiled. Malachi's not going to fight him. He's just, or not necessarily doesn't fight him, just gives him the slip. Basically, I don't need your time of day. Like, I'm not going to accept your time of day. Cody's out at ringside at all of Malachi's matches. He's essentially hounding him for it. But Malachi's the dude who, after the match, just disappears, puff of smoke, and he's gone. So it almost seems to him like this dude's legitimately, if you wanted to build some kind of supernatural being or some kind of legend, this is somebody who's truly in the psyche of Cody Rhodes, and he feels like he can't be himself until he gets that third match. But he has to. But Malachi, subconsciously, everybody knows he's watching. He's waiting to see Cody's moves to see if he's worthy to face him yet again.
And it kind of fans the flames with like the Arn angle too, right? Because like that's where the storming out of the gym would have made sense, and then it would have made sense going from there to be like, I told you need to let this go, and like that's where Cody breaks from Arn, which feels like Cody. You don't know if it's a heel thing, but you're kind of like, all right, Cody's kind of like pushed away Arn. He's pushed away this whole thing that he's built over here because he's like that locked in and that focused on this one target. I agree. Like, I think that actually that could have been a cool thing. Again, like it kind of comes back to like, if Cody just had the chutzpah, the cojones, the huevos, if you prefer that dialect, like then there should have been some kind of a move towards a heel turn. There could have been like a total disconnected, I don't know, like you can't do the Stardust character, and I didn't watch wrestling during the Stardust character, but you could have gone for like that sort of like Cody's had a mental break sort of thing. Rose to the top is done. Yeah, I mean, like Rose to the top is done for now, so you don't have to try to like do the whole pandering thing there. And it's kind of like you could have done like one or two real quick cuts with like Brandy or something where Brandy's like legitimately worried because Cody's like not coming home to her and the baby kind of thing because he's like so focused on Malachi. Like you could have done a lot here. I honestly, the black tights were interesting. I don't remember him wearing black tights with the Homelander gear, but I kind of wanted to see him come back out like when he showed up after losing to Brody Lee, where he goes black hair.
Yeah.
Like where that's his like get down to business and like he's down and dirty. And it felt like once again, he's like trying to toe the line of like, he's doing the stupid ass middle of the two tunnels thing. It's like the black tights are telling you one thing, but the bleach blonde hair is telling you another. And it's like, just go one way or the other.
So it would have made more sense.
Shades of gray here.
Right.
Like this group was. But we don't need that.
Clinton and I talked about this before. Black hair Cody should have come out at Malachi too. If they were going to do that, if you were going to use that level, that, for the lack of a better term, that Super Saiyan form, whatever you want to call it, that different evolution of Cody, have him come out at Malachi or at the second match with the black hair. He's been off TV. That's the time to go for it. But it was just they really dropped the ball on that. I think this is the first big snafu storyline that AEW's had, and we're probably the only ones really that focused on it, considering all the other stuff that's going on.
No, not really. Not really.
I don't think so.
On Twitter, man. Like Twitter's a cesspool right now.
Crazy. I mean, Twitter's always crazy, but like Twitter felt even nuttier because I watched on a delay. Clint sent me a message, and I don't remember what it was, but I was mad because I hadn't gotten to see Dynamite yet, and I'm like, I'm delayed. I forget what I was doing, but I was like, I have to watch it like 2 hours late. So stayed up late and watched it, and I don't want to be mad. The thing that I guess maybe gave a little bit of hope, or maybe is Malachi trying to sell this whole angle. was that he put on Instagram that whole thing about how his goal wasn't to win a match, it was to break Cody, and he did, because now everybody hates Cody. And it's like, all right, there is something to be said for that. Like, there is certainly logic in the story behind saying something to that effect. But I almost worry that that's just kind of like aftermath. Like, we're really disappointed in how this one came off, and this is like the way to try to sell it to your fans specifically.
It's entirely possible. I mean, but at least with Black, you have somebody who can take the charge on that, who can go, okay, look, I think I know how to rectify this situation. If we need to continue it, we can continue it, but let me do some work outside of the ring, character-wise, to try to levy some tension here, not have as much go in this way. Because he's still got to save his character. Malachi's weaker because of that. That was a horrible thing to happen for. I don't think he's terribly weaker because of who he lost to, but it's still kind of the thing. First off, you weaken the Black Mass because he took it.
Yeah, that was the big.
Hold on.
That was the big issue. Was the like he came to, and then he's running across the ring. He initially sold it when he was getting up, like he was hurt, and then you're sprinting across the ring and you're able to do everything. Like,
hold on. As a person who watches MMA, I will defend that, because he knocked him clean out, and then like Cody fell over outside the ropes and everything like that, like on the ropes or whatever. He was dead weight, but knocked out before dead weight. That looked as realistic as possible, because he got knocked out for a few seconds and he was right back up. And just when you get knocked out or you get choked out and you wake up, you feel like you just got 8 hours of sleep, no matter how long you were out for. Like, I was out for like 30 seconds one time, and I woke up and I felt bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. So I don't like it.
Yeah,
but it's not unrealistic to me.
So when you come over to my house, so when you come over to my house and tell me "choke me, daddy," it's because you need 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Is that weird? No. Don't kink shame me.
Well, apparently
I'm not. I didn't kink shame you. I just want to clarify.
8 hours of sleep. Huh.
Yeah.
I don't think that it makes Malachi that much weaker now. I think it just, to me, it doesn't taint Malachi. It just further taints Cody. It further taints like this whole idea, because, again, you're towing that freaking line, right? He grabs the arms, and you're like, this mother, he's not gonna pedigree him. Is he?
Oh, I thought he was going to, and I was so mad.
And you take a second, and it's like, oh boy. Because then you could totally buy into the Cody, like Cody could go out on the mic next week or on Wednesday and be like, I don't know what you guys are thinking. That was a move that worked. But in your heart of hearts and watching the match, you're like, oh no, that's what he was doing. Like, we're planting seeds. And I think that like he planted the seed and then he harvested it too early. Like that move as a setup was fine. That move to end it, like, has Cody ever ended? Like, did I miss something in his like New Japan days or something where like
he's never finished it with a Tiger Driver 98.
Did he wuss out? Was he supposed to finish it with a pedigree? And then he, thought better of it, didn't like it. It didn't work for me, brother. Like, what happened?
I think it was planned, and this is just for once I get to use some knowledge of that. The way that Black got up for him with his legs to make that driver just look so much more effective, that had to have been planned, because there's no way he's going to hear him from where he was at, that it was like to recall something in the thing. Unless not necessarily chickened out, unless he called that shot beforehand, like when he was bent over the ropes and leaned down.
Yeah.
If he changed the finish right then, that could have been it. But there in the actual moment,
in the moment,
he wasn't changing it.
No, but overall, I've said this to you. I'll eat crow. I thought that match was going to be dog shit. That was a phenomenal match with just a really shit finish.
Here's a question for you guys. Like, what's this Andrade thing now? Because I like that Andrade's getting more screen time. I like that there's been like the touch and go with Andrade and the Pinnacle, even though they said it's a one-off. Like, I do enjoy that. I feel like Andrade needs to have more people around him, or there have to be like actual legitimate people involved with him that lend credence to the idea that like he can afford this, or he can play off this. which I don't think we've really established yet.
I really don't think they know what they're doing.
I don't know where this Malachi thing goes, because I said this to you guys when Malachi won those tag team championships on whatever promotion it was. I didn't like that they were pairing him with anybody because it felt like it was taking away from the mystique. The idea of Malachi and Andrade together, like, I don't get it. Like, they don't have the same goal. They don't have the same motivations. Like, one is supposed to be.
I'm just trying to think of anything other than they both work. One's married to Zelina
of Latino wrestlers. Like, I don't know how that works with what Malachi Black is supposed to be doing. Like, isn't Andrade like one of the 7 deadly sins that you would have gone after?
I would have thought so. I personally think they're almost trying to play Andrade off like a Ted DiBiase character at this point. He's buying help from FTR, or MJF was buying help from FTR, or what? However that went. Anyway,
he was buying FTR. Yeah. He was buying FTR for the night to take a title off of
the Lucha Bros. Like, yeah, that's, to me, that's what I see. I see this guy. I see him as being that I'm gonna buy my way to the top kind of deal, like a DiBiase was, but just without the gaudiness, I guess.
Oh, why would Malachi be the guy to come out and finish off Pock if that's the case? Like, there are so many other guys that you could have brought out as a theoretical, muscle to try to like get the job.
Yeah, I don't know. And the only thing that you could think of in this case is, and they really weren't in the company at the same time. They weren't really involved with each other. I mean, they have history on the indies from, like European, from England wrestling and stuff like that. But I don't know. I don't have a connection between the two. I can't bring those two specifically together.
Aleister Black took the title off of Andrade.
No. I'm saying Black and Pock, not Andrade.
Oh,
I can. The Andrade character.
They're going to put on a banger of a match.
Well, here, this is the only way that it makes sense. Maybe Black hit Pock with the mist, and everybody loves Pock.
Mm-hmm.
He is a bastard, right? So everybody loves Pock. So by attacking Pock, you're kind of setting the stage for like Black being a heel, sort of, because like you actually don't want to see somebody mess up Pock. No. And now Cody comes out, and because Cody's thwarting the guy who just attacked Pock, they thought it would like get a big face turn pop from the crowd, and it kind of worked, maybe a little bit. Like I don't know.
All you have to do with anyone in that company is pair them with the Lucha Bros, and they will be over.
So where's your end goal with this at this point, though? Are you going to do another Blood and Guts, and these two guys?
No,
you're going to have a 4 and a 4. I don't.
No, we're just trying to get this. Maybe they're trying to use Andrade for trios titles.
Yeah, like, but he would have Andrade and FTR. But he's not going to, right? Because Andrade is not going to join the Pinnacle.
He's not. But I see the Pinnacle breaking up very soon.
I don't.
I think the Pinnacle was only established a feud with the Inner Circle, and we already see tension between MJF and Wardlow. And what's MJF without Wardlow?
That's been there a long time. Mm-hmm. What if Andrade is the guy to replace Wardlow? Like, if the idea is this accountability buddy, I got it right. The accountability buddy, right? Where Spears is supposed to make sure that Wardlow's doing his job, and we're eventually going to set up for the Owen tournament where Wardlow's definitely going to square off against MJF, and they're going to go their separate ways. Like, I don't know. Do you add Andrade into that mix? I don't know how that works. I feel like this is them trying to figure out something to do with Andrade because they're trying to bide time until the heat is off Ric Flair and they can finally go forward with it.
That's not going to happen. Now everything with his fucking daughter, which I'll get into later because I got a lot to say about Charlotte.
What if Andrade is the guy to replace MJF in that group? Instead of taking the muscle side of it.
I don't know how that would work though.
Well, he's paid off. He paid off MJF for FTR, but he got FTR titles. So then you've got Wardlow's unhappy with MJF already. Sean Spears, while the accountability thing was there, didn't seem like he was the highest on being that guy for MJF. MJF rubs enough people the wrong way. Andrade pays enough people off. He buys his friends.
We're setting up for Blood and Guts, where Tully is with the Pinnacle. Arn is going to do whatever he's doing with Cody, and God knows whoever Cody's going to like tag along. But then Flair is going to show up, and Flair and Andrade are going to have their own little crew with the Lucha Bros.
It's not going to happen.
And hold on, and give me another Latino.
Fuego del Sol. No.
Fuego del Sol. Fuego's going to be Sammy. Oh my God, Fuego! By God, Fuego's turning on Sammy. I can't believe we're seeing this tonight.
It'd be like Laredo Kid or Jalisco or somebody like that. Dragon.
Now that would be cool. Or if Andrade turns Santana and Ortiz, because the Lucha Bros won't leave Pock, and he manages to get Santana and Ortiz to turn, and then those are your trios, right? So you get Lucha Bros and Andrade, or no, Lucha Bros and Pac against Andrade and what do they call themselves? Proud and Powerful? Pride and Powerful? Pride and Prejudice. And that just becomes like a thing that you have. Isn't that what you guys think of whenever they like say that name?
Yeah.
Proud and Powerful.
But like that could be like, I don't know. I feel like there's some like potential there for the trios. I don't know. I'm doing this with my fingers. I don't like how this looks.
At least they're good on the mic. I mean,
I'm going to cut all of us off, and I'm going to say we have to move on from this subject because we've been on it for 25 pissing minutes.
Oh well.
There's so much more wrestling to cover.
Well, please, by all accounts, Clinton, what's our next topic that we're touching here?
Well, match number 2 on Rampage.
The matches. Just pluck a couple
is Anna Jay versus Brit Baker.
Brit Baker won. I lost. You're 1-0. I'm 0-1.
Oh, yeah. Russ, let's bring this back up. Let's bring this up here. So, yeah, you said you had some thoughts on this. So let's talk about this.
Yeah. Can you explain to me what the rationale behind this draft was?
We were looking for something to bet on.
No, I know, but like, what is it for? Like, the people get like, do you get points for promos? Do you get points for wins?
Best win-loss record at the end of the year.
All right, pull it back up really quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so we got a couple of issues. One, are we counting Dark and Dark Elevation?
Yes.
All right, then Ethan actually does have a shot here because he has too many guys on this list that aren't going to make the national, that aren't going to be on TNT. But he does have a bunch of guys on here who are certainly going to get some. Now, Kenny's a problem because Kenny doesn't fight a lot.
No.
Miro's off TV, at least for a little bit here. Jungle Boy really doesn't get that many matches. Ty Conti's a good pick. Clint, I mean, Hangman is going to probably go the way of not the Dodo, but like, assuming he wins, he's not going to be fighting every week. He's not going to be showing up on Darker Elevation. So, you know, you could be drafting the champ. I don't know. Lucha Bros, smart. Britt Baker, she'll be out. She'll be out there. Jade Cargill will get some dark work. I like Jade Cargill a lot. Bryan Danielson, they're going to keep the Danielson and CM Punk picks are smart, because they're just going to keep milking these cows for everything they have left. Mm-hmm. FTR with the AAA championships make a lot more sense now. Moxley, I feel like, is bound to go away for a little bit. Bobby Fish. Okay. When are the Young Bucks are the Young Bucks gonna get back in the ring?
This Wednesday. The wrestling.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
It's the Elite versus the Dark Order.
I feel like there was a way to do this where you incorporate even more dark talent to really go for the win-loss record. Because I feel like there are a number of people on here who I'm not too sure are going to get into the ring enough for it to matter. Like Kenny's not, well, I mean, Kenny might lose the title, but Kenny's not going to lose many matches. Hangman's not going to lose many matches. Like, that's where Punk and Danielson offset.
So our biggest thing with we couldn't. So the Kenny Sammy picks at the end there. So the whole part of the rules was we could each have 2 champions on our roster.
Okay.
So my first pick. So we flipped a coin. Clint got first pick. He took Hangman, which was going to be my first pick. So I took Jungle Boy, who gets a decent amount of work, but also he's a good shot to win. You know. Clint takes the first champion off the board with Britt Baker. I'm kind of an idiot here and should have taken Penta and Ray Phoenix, but I went with Ty Conti because she gets a lot of work on Dark. And so then I made the big mistake though of not taking Andrade and Ty Conti as a tag team because as TJ, that was I will admit a mistake on my part. But then so he's got his second pick, and it forced me to have Sammy and Kenny, which I was actually happy with the Sammy pick. I wasn't upset with that one because Sammy will get some work. But like 2.0, those guys 2.0 Santino Ortiz and part of the Dark Order, those were purely dark elevation picks just to get wins out there.
There's gonna be a lot of matches that come up like trios matches and shit where like Daniel Garcia and 2.0 tag team a lot, so that's gonna be a win in both of our categories.
I still don't, Clint. I'm trying to understand why Daniel Garcia is a guy that you're just like losing your mind over. I don't usually judge like the size thing, but Daniel Garcia looks so freaking skinny to me. Not emaciated, but like just like he's got the technical skill, but like it's not believable to me. I hate saying this. Here's the unpopular opinion. You know, it's all about the boom, but Adam Coleman, like I love his work in the ring, but when you see him like next to the Young Bucks,
next to us,
like I don't know. It's kind of upsetting. Like I was fine with Adam Cole being smaller than main roster guys with WWE because it made sense. But like seeing him next to the Young Bucks and sometimes the Young Bucks looking bigger is not great. Not great.
No, but Kenny looks like the same size too.
Yeah. Except Kenny's
but I've also got
he's a thick boy.
I've also got a soft spot in my heart because I fucking love the whole thing of 2.0 going like Daniel Garcia, our son, Daniel Garcia. I think that's one of the funniest things in the world right now. Okay.
So Brit Baker, Anna Jay, good match. Well done.
Serviceable match. Then we move on to the main event.
Brit's not as good in the ring as she is on the mic. And it's starting to get kind of upsetting. No, maybe.
I'm indifferent.
I don't know if she's not that like she's not great, or if it's she doesn't have the ability to lift her opponent, and maybe that's what was at play because Anna Jay's like still so green, but like I don't know the work rate. I just haven't been that impressed by many of the Brit Baker as champion matches, and it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah,
I liked her match with Chris Statlander a lot.
Yes, that was a good one.
I thought that was really good. I think her match with Anna Jay was very, very good. But I do think Anna Jay is the better wrestler between Brit Baker and her. But I don't think we're going to see an Anna Jay title run anytime soon.
No.
TJ, I think Ty Conti is going to get a very, very good match out of her because Ty Conti is phenomenal as well.
Mm-hmm.
But Ty Conti is not going to win. She's going to get lockjawed.
Yes.
And then we move on to the main event of Rampage, which was Pock versus Andrade. We've gone over that already, but it was a phenomenal match. It was better than the first one. We went over the ending of that match. But
it was a banger. It was very good.
I loved it.
It actually it made Andrade feel good. It made Andrade look good.
He hasn't had that amazing match since he's shown up until that night.
Yeah. Yeah, which is a problem, but it looks like they're rectifying it. So we should all be kind of thrilled that it's happening, right?
Yeah. I need him to get into like really, really good feuds. Like I know the Pock Andrade match is probably going to happen at Full Gear again, just because I don't know why they're doing all these three-peat matches so back to back to back.
They want to show WWE that you can actually do rematch as well.
Mm-hmm.
Should they be doing it as much? Ask my shirt. There we go. No.
But then we move on to Dynamite, which it kicked off with a fucking banger. I love Dustin Rhodes. This is the best Dustin Rhodes has ever been.
Man. God, what even JR was bringing up. He goes, "Oh yeah," and honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. I can't remember who he referenced. Was like, "Oh, he's got the best power slam I've ever seen." But Dustin gets so close to the mat, and it's such vicious. him and Orton currently best ones out there. And I don't know why, because it's really not that impressive of a move. It's just a dude somersaulting over another dude with one dude twisting.
Cares if
it's so fucking cool? I don't care.
It looks so good and so smooth every time. And I love when Orton like misses and he just turns around, he slams his hands on the mat and goes, damn it. Okay. Because that's his move. I don't RKO in that move. I fucking love Orton for life for those two moves alone. And the time he punted Shane McMahon into the oblivion.
Great moment.
Or the time that he threw the Singh brother.
Oh, that was hilarious when he just dropped the Singh brother on the back of his head on the fucking announce table. And he knew he fucked up. But they're never going to do anything about it. But yeah, that fucking match was a banger. Fucking Danielson versus Dustin. Who would have thought?
Listen, I messaged you this. The same thing I think you just said. This iteration of Dustin Rhodes is so much fun to watch. It's so enjoyable to watch. And like, it's such a shame that he was saddled with, and he did good things with Goldust, but like, it is such a shame that we didn't get to see like the in his prime, whatever version of whatever could have been, because you could kind of sell me on the idea of like a Dustin Rhodes TNT title run at some point. Not a world title. I think you could actually get close. Here's a fun one. Okay. Cody finally turns heel. Won't happen. And decides that he's going to go back on his word, chase the championship, wins the world title. And then we get Cody Dustin 2 at some point. And it's Dustin kind of like saying, this is everything you said you weren't going to be. And we get that same kind of like tearjerker moment at the end where he pulls Cody out of being a heel. Cody wins and retains. But like, you really get the feeling, and they build Dustin up to be like, there's one guy who could put down Cody, and it's his brother, blah, 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 blah. Won't happen now.
No,
but
not a chance.
I like this version of Dustin. I do.
He's really like, good for the young guys.
He should be taking somebody under his wing, though.
Lee Johnson.
I don't know if it's...
No, I'm just. I think that's one of the guys. Or
it's Brock Anderson. He needs to take under his wing. Brock Anderson.
That would be future. That would be interesting. Except for the fact that Brock Anderson looks older than Dustin Rhodes.
Brock Anderson looks 22 in 76 at the same fucking time.
Oh man, there's so many people. He's a good coach though, and it's good to see that they have guys like that, and you can put them on TV when you need it. But he's not the staple every week.
Yeah.
They're going to find somebody that he'll work with really well and send him out there with them.
Andrade.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Could be anything. What do we got next?
Fucking hell. It can't be said enough that it's a banger of a match. And Bryan Danielson continues to win every match with a different move, because this time he won with a guillotine. That was awesome. Nice shout out to Roman Reigns, because that guillotine was amazing. And then we get the Elite backstage saying they're going to face the Dark Order next week. It's going to be, I looked it up, it is John Silver, Stu Grayson, Evil Uno, and Colt Cabana versus Kenny Omega, Adam Cole, and the Bucks.
Can you guys make any sense of this? Because I liked the fact that Hangman came back, referenced that he made new friends in the Dark Order, but I was ready for Hangman to be done with Dark Order. I don't understand like why we're doing this again. I don't think it. I think it cheapens Hangman. Like, I think that Hangman, where he was, we had the really cool moment where he came out and he was in the matching gear, and they did the spotlight for Brody, and like, it was great, and it all flowed really well. And then he loses, he goes away, and he came back without any alcohol in his hand. He came back like he was driven, he was motivated, he was good to go. And then like this week kind of felt like pre-Hangman leaving, where like we have him with Dark Order again, we have him with a beer in hand, and I'm just like, I feel like last week's promo that he cut, which seemed like a different version of Hangman, is now like erased again, and I don't totally get why.
I'm going to let them see where it goes, because he has treated the Dark Order like family, and he seems like the type of prick who wouldn't turn his back on family. He seems like the Dominic Toretto of fucking AEW.
I was waiting for it. That's because we got family.
We're family. We're the Dark Order, but we're family. he said time and time again, like leading up to that match, we are the Dark Order. We do not back down. He's going to be fixated with them because every good leader needs a stable behind him. And
they're all going to come out like dressed like horses, like
that. Oh my God, no!
Yeah.
Hold on. They all come out on Pepe's.
Shut up. Hold on.
Shut the fuck up.
I love how quick that drop was.
I have it queued up for him.
Yeah. So let me put that number up there. Thank you. I've been counting. That's 2 episodes worth of that is where we're at. No,
I've used it 9 times, so
tells you a lot. After Hangman and after
Sting and MJF.
We had Sting and MJF, which this is what it is. The story behind this here, Darby's been off TV for a few weeks after the drunk uncle comment from MJF. Once again, MJF comes out absolutely blistering promo because that's what he does. And Sting comes out to confront him. There is no Darby. Sting no-sells a chair shot. Gets beat down. MJF essentially calls Darby out to the ring. Darby doesn't show. But that's because Darby was in my basement at a Halloween party at the time.
Oh, that's nice. What do you dress up as?
Oh, yeah, Clinton.
Wow.
Yeah.
I praise.
I think they're about the same height, truthfully.
Yeah. The interesting thing here, I guess, was that you think about like how you get nuclear heat. And I think we had talked once before about like if the goal had been to turn Malachi heel and you really wanted to get heel heat, you have to attack Sting.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of them going that way, they gave the nuclear heat to MJF, who didn't need the nuclear heat, but boy,
does not need it.
They fired every nuclear weapon in the segment. The Lex Luger comment.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
He just keeps having it. See, that's what gets me about him. It's just bombshell after bombshell after bombshell with MJF. And I'm fine with it because I've said it before. I hate making the comparison to it, but I'm going to. He's the closest thing we have to a Roddy Piper right now.
Yeah.
He's good enough in the ring to get you there in a match if you need it. But on the mic, he is just money.
Yes. And the sad thing is, if he ever went to WWE, you know damn well they would have some kind of stupid interview segment with MJF.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome back to WWE SmackDown, where MJF is in the ring for MJF's reviews or something.
Welcome to the Burberry Breakdown.
There you go.
MJF has to go through clearance before he says some of the shit he says. He has to.
Well,
There's
the
Luger.
The Lex Luger thing was brutal. Notice the difference though between him making the Lex Luger comment and Sting, because he says that in a wheelchair and Sting pops him, versus what happened with Darby, where we had the wrong man died that night.
Mm-hmm.
And that should have been the thing that led to Darby cracking MJF. And instead it was, you're not going to break me mentally, which I don't think really hit well, but that's whatever. But Sting popped him, and that made sense.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with it. That's just, and like you said, the heat was there. Everything was there.
Yeah. I just, the one thing I like about AEW is they don't mind when their wrestlers talk about other wrestlers and other companies. Because earlier this week, an interview came out with MJF where he was talking about Roman Reigns and say how he would love to wrestle Roman.
I saw that I watched that this morning. It was with Barstool.
Yeah.
Right. And he said 2024 is when his contract is up. But then it was interesting because he didn't smack talk Roman.
No,
which I thought was interesting. And by the way, like that's fair. Like Roman's not bad. Like the idea that like you would trash talk everyone from the other company is silly.
Yes.
Which is why it was also, interesting that he pulled back the curtain a little bit and said, he can act like he doesn't know who I am, but like they watch our stuff, which I thought was also interesting.
Yeah.
But
yeah, they're watching their stuff from Gorilla. They're watching our stuff from Gorilla, is what he would say.
I mean, everybody should be watching everybody's stuff, right?
Absolutely.
Like,
how do you have good
WWE
competition if you don't
like,
watch other products?
mean, I wouldn't watch Impact, but that's fine. I mean, whatever.
Whoa. I actually have negative shit to say about Impact this week in Bound for Glory, but
do you about the fact that they just like panic booked everything? The fact that I don't actually know if the AEW thing is done, but the fact that like they were given a golden goose egg and they just like dropped it on the floor like Kevin with the chili. Like, do you want to go there? Because
about how you change 4 titles or how you change 4 titles 5 times in one show.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I was a fan of the main event. I was not a fan of the aftermath. If this doesn't culminate in Josh Alexander winning that belt back at the next pay-per-view, I'm going to be really unhappy. Especially because it was with his wife and his kids in the ring, too. I was not a fan of that at all. I know,
guys, I'm really sorry. We just gave Impact more attention than it deserved. I am so sorry. I didn't want to.
No, we gave the right match the attention it deserved. We gave the Walking Weapon and Christian Cage the attention, and then we glanced over everything else.
Hey, no, Trey Miguel winning the X Division title was awesome. That was awesome.
But what you're saying is the pay-per-view wasn't really iconic, huh?
It was
inspiration.
There was real inspiration.
They won the tag belts. I was cool with that because do something with your tag division there if you're gonna have women's tag belts.
If the working relationship between AEW and Impact is really dead, can we talk about like the ultimate missed opportunity for Impact here? That I mean, I know I've shit talked it, but like you supposedly have the best women's roster in all of professional wrestling. And at no point did we really see much, if any, crossover. I mean, I think it was very limited. I think, did we see like one match?
None at all. No, there was none.
There wasn't one? Because What's Her Nuts came over from NWA to take on,
Serena Deeb.
More recently. Recently to take Camille with Layla.
Which was a fucking barn burner of a match.
The Impact thing just never... I don't know if Impact's any better off than they were. If I were Tony Khan, like I certainly would have called an end to the relationship because I don't think they were getting anything out of it. Was Switchblade on the pay-per-view at all? Is Switchblade still like around? Is he still do like
Bullet Club is New Japan, so I think they're still gonna have a working relationship with New Japan. But the AEW one, the AEW one for all intents and purposes is done.
Do you get the feeling that maybe this was like Tony Khan playing 7-dimensional chess and he kind of like pulled anything out of Impact that he wanted to pull out of Impact, and now he's done with that toy and we're going to move on to a new toy? Because like
what he realized
they hadn't mentioned Ring of Honor at all on AEW programming, I don't think, over the last year and a half. But no, they did.
Who?
They did. The promo that was cut in the middle of the ring by Hangman. Hangman said, "We left our home in Ring of Honor." It was the first time I ever remember Ring of Honor being brought up on AEW programming ever.
It's because Ring of Honor hates all of them. Because they essentially funded All In. And then they were just like, cool, deuces, we're going to go start our own wrestling company.
Well, they were too stupid to put Ring of Honor's name on it. Like, that's on them for blowing it. But the fact that he mentioned it, like, I don't know, there's part of me that wonders if, like, is that where we're heading? Could we be heading toward a crossover with Ring of Honor now and bailing on Impact?
Just give me Danhausen and Orange Cassidy on a Wednesday night. I'm good.
That'd be fun. That'd be real fun.
Give them the full hour. Let them do a
broadcast. A full hour, and we're all just dancing to Tequila on loop.
I love that shit. I love comedy in my wrestling. It's the best.
It's fantastic. Just some of that stuff. You need it. You need it after some serious or just really bad matches. You need some comedy. Just tune it in. It could be. It could be. There's no reason saying that it's not. Saying that somebody hasn't reached out and mended fences on some end. No reason somebody hasn't dropped, $20,000 off at Sinclair's doorstep, which they own Bally Sports. So, I mean, they're making money hand over fist now too from buying those packages out. So, I mean, I don't know. Who knows? But anyway, so just to get down to the dirty here on this thing, we ended up after the Sting MJF We had Brit Baker. She made mention of Ty Conti and doing what she does best. Basically said that she was going to show her ass, which is all she's done since she has arrived in AEW. I think the match is going to be better than it probably should be, but I don't think it's going to be the best match on that card at all. Best match is going to be it's going to be Kenny and Hangman.
You know what? I'm gonna argue that one. It's going to be Moxley and Danielson.
And then we had the first match of the TBS Championship Tournament. Ruby Soho took on Penelope Ford, and she ended up winning that match. And she goes on to face Chris Statlander, who I believe had
the top 4 ranked women got first round buys.
Yes, got first round buy on that. So yeah, it's detailed like a real tournament instead of let's give this fluff bullshit match King of the Ring anybody to everything. Then
actually giving them fucking time on television.
Right. After that, we get to the MJF and the Accountability Buddy promo backstage.
I want a shirt.
just playing that, just stirring the pot a little bit with that MJF Wardlow relationship that is going to blow up.
Can they partner with Build-A-Bear? Can we have like a Build Accountability Buddy? Because I'm here for it. Like a stuffed Wardlow. A stuffed Sean Spears that comes with like a little chair.
Oh, it's like
plush chair.
Yeah, it's like Russell Buddies.
Yes,
those would be so cool.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm so sad I got rid of those.
They still make them. They're just not as prevalent as they are. Yep. Anyway, fun little promo there. Sowed some seeds of doubt. Bobby Fish beats Anthony Green. Anthony Green's still a good enhancement talent, for lack of a better term. He's a good dude in the ring. He's good to look at. Bobby Fish is just a bastard at this point. Kind of surprised that they're giving a shake to a dude who's 41 and just coming in from where he came from. Just
Punk
with the rest
probably
of the
really
stuff
wanted
in the
to
crowd.
work with Fish.
No, that's fine. But that's ultimately what this led to. Punk came out to make the save per se for Anthony Green, and now we're gonna get Bobby Fish and CM Punk, and Bobby
Which
Fish
is super nice because it's completely different than every other CM Punk thing they've done. Because it's always just been CM Punk coming out and popping the crowd and then leaving. No, this time he came out and he's trying to help someone. He's like, oh, I'm going to fight you. This is fine. I'm glad we're done with bringing out CM Punk on every show just for a pop.
We're going to hear from CM Punk next week. CM Punk Love Fest.
Caucasian males with dark hair and facial hair going one-on-one in the most physical match you've ever seen. Right.
We go to the scariest moment of the night after that, which was Kingston and Archer, which I thought Archer was going to win, but I think maybe he was, and they had to change that finish real quick.
Oh, yeah.
There was one angle that made it look like it was a work. I don't know if you guys saw the one. There was one angle where it looked like he had actually landed on his forearms, and there was a gap between his head and the mat, and I was like, there's no way. Like, even if you were trying to land it perfectly like that, the likelihood of you having that go wrong and snapping your neck is high. That was scary. That was some scary stuff. Weird though, right? Because Kingston's very close to the ropes, and Archer, I mean, it wasn't even like a launch himself up. Like, you really almost have to, I don't want to say intentionally, but like for your trajectory to go that flat as you're doing it versus like the guy's right there. You're doing out instead of up. I don't know. Glad that he's okay, because that would have been horrific. And it also makes you realize just how close these guys are to,
Hayabusa.
Life-altering.
Oh, God. Hayabusa is such a tragic story.
Same thing, same concept. Except here you have a dude who's 90 pounds heavier.
At least.
With more force coming down. So... Yeah, just glad Lance Archer's okay. He's on Twitter. He's tweeting out. We might see him on TV. He's definitely. I'm guessing he probably won't be in a ring for 3 or 4 months.
He's doing rehab, is what the one post said.
Yeah. I'm guessing somewhere 3 to 4 on a low end, probably closer to 4 to 6. No reason to have him on TV right now. Jake's health isn't great, so he hasn't been out there. He seems kind of like he's just a fish out of water in the current landscape of things. He'll end up coming back in some big moment, which is good. I mean, he is the big terror that they have. Then we go on to what is just grading on way too damn long. Dan Lambert and the Men of the Year. I'm done with it. I don't need it anymore.
I'll run through this real quick. This is pretty much just a long promo of them saying a really bunch of horrible things about a bunch of homophobic things they're saying. Just isn't working for me, honestly. I would love to see an MMA crossover, but I would love them to stop making these jokes. What is essentially happening here is at Full Gear, it's going to be the Inner Circle, the entirety of them, versus Men of the Year, Jorge Masvidal, and 2 other members of America Top Team. But next week, they're having a match for the TNT title where it's Ethan Page versus Sammy Guevara. And if Sammy Guevara loses that match, he is out of the Inner Circle and he cannot participate in that 10-man tag. So it would be a 5-on-4 handicap match.
I just at this point, the Inner Circle has beyond worn out its welcome. I don't know what we're doing here. Even Jericho admitted that they were supposed to lose. So I'm just kind of, I don't need to see Jericho for a little bit. And I love Jericho. I really do. But I don't need to see Jericho. Mm-hmm. I don't care for Jake Hager. Santana and Ortiz kind of need to be let free.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm kind of like, even if it were to go with Andrade or something, I just need them to go somewhere. I need them to get actual work, and I need them to shine on their own. Or even it's like them and just Sammy, and that's the part of the Pinnacle that you see week in and week out. That's fine. Run not even a skeleton crew, but just run a more efficient crew. I don't need the full group because honestly, it doesn't do anything for me. And it's like 2 factions that I don't care. I don't think the Ethan Page thing is working. I feel like they just buried Scorpio Sky from what I thought he was initially to where he's at now. The whole thing just doesn't really work. And now it's just I honestly I enjoy watching these pay-per-views.
But that bring back LAX.
That feels like a really good time to just go use the bathroom or go mix a drink or go prep everyone's lunch for the week. I told you guys at the New York show, the Jericho match, Jericho and Hager, was get up and go to the merch stand, get up and go to the bathroom, empty out. It's not landing right now. And this whole thing just no. And I think Lambert kind of does an okay job sometimes. It's very hit or miss, but this is a fast forward kind of section of the show that I just don't think fits the rest of the thing. And it would be great to see there be that MMA crossover, but unless you're going to get Masvidal in the ring and he's going to transition into a back and forth like Lesnar did for a little bit, I don't get it. I don't see it. Is Junior Dos Santos going to work his way into becoming a pro wrestler? If so, cool. If you're AEW, could be very cool. You're going to catch a lot of those MMA fans. You're going to be interested to see what he's got. He's a big dude. The AEW could use some big dudes who know their way around the ring, who can work safely. So I'm here for that. I don't think that the Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky thing works. I think it would have been better if you had Scorpio maybe and one other guy who got fed up in his faction. I don't think Ethan Page works in this role at all. And no. I just think it kind of waters everything down. Isn't Ethan
I need
Page
the North.
Josh Alexander and Ethan Page.
Yes, that was when he was the best. You had the dude, you let him be on the mic for a little bit. He had the in-ring work. He had the guy with him who had the in-ring work. And I think they tried to resurrect that here, but with the wrong characters. The boat shoes, khakis, it's just not working for those guys. Those guys came from a different background, so it's a little difficult to see them try to make that work. And they're square peg round hole.
I feel like we've given this segment more time than it deserved.
Probably the next one though.
Hold on. The backstage with Moxley. Yeah. This version of Moxley is my favorite. But just to put an end to that whole thing, if it ends at Full Gear, cool. It means we got 3 more weeks. We got 3 more weeks. I hope it does. Moxley is just turning this whole character where he's just now I have to fight to get home to my daughter. Cool. So that means other people got to get hurt, which means Moxley's just going to go on a fucking tear, which I'm here for. Then we get Jungle Boy and Brandon Cutler. I don't know what anyone thought this match was.
Because this is my first win.
Oh, yeah, that's the first win you actually got on the board.
Don't even care. I'm hyped.
That doesn't even count as a full win. That's like a quarter win.
You get a full win, and then fucking you got a loss right after that, because right after that was Malachi and Cody. And we have talked about that in great detail. So if you really want to hear our thoughts about that, go back to the beginning, watch the first 30 minutes, and then come back. Because we all had our thoughts.
Yep.
Not a fan.
Oh, yeah. No. I mean, I'm the fan of the match. The match itself, yes. Ending, no. Simple as that.
I have to say, guys, I've thought this over. I'm actually very happy with how that match ended. And I just want to express my undying support for Cody Rhodes as a babyface in AEW. I think people just don't give him enough credit. You know, he's one of the people who brought this fantastic promotion to life. And I think that we should be eternally in his debt. And so I think that anybody who roots against him or boos him is the Antichrist and deserves to be eradicated.
And yes. I hope he comes out in black tights with lightning stripes down the side, or lightning bolts down the side of him.
No, but seriously, like the black tights, though, were the black tights ever a thing before? Because I really don't remember the black tights ever being a thing. At least not since he started like doing the American flag on the Jumbotron stuff.
I don't.
He's worn red before. I think he's worn blue tights before.
Oh no, you know what? No, he did. He has wore them. It because they had silver, but they were white and silver. They had silver around the band, but they weren't all. The black wasn't like super predominant. He had his American or his the shitty skull tattoo logo on the side on the one side, and the other side had that band like it's like a wedding garter or whatever. Like he was waiting for somebody to come take it off his leg.
Wow.
I can't think of another time he did though. No, not since Stardust. Otherwise,
Cody should be fined this week for wearing black and blue. We all know that doesn't work. Shame, Cody. Shame.
Not since the Backstreet Boys album.
Joan Rivers is rolling over in her grave. Thanks, Cody.
Who's ready for their wrestling fun fact of the week?
Oh, Jesus.
I love fun facts.
In the year 2000, the WCW World Heavyweight Championship changed hands 25 times. In a 2-week period in May, there were 6 title exchanges.
How many of those went on Vince? Did Russo have one of those?
He won it once.
Was he one of those 6? Russo and wasn't Arquette? Would that have been 2 of those 6?
The May was Nature Boy defeated Jeff Jarrett. Vince Russo stripped Flair of the title.
Of course.
Jeff Jarrett defeated Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash defeated Jeff Jarrett. Ric Flair was awarded the title. Then Jeff Jarrett defeated Ric Flair. Then Booker T defeated Jeff Jarrett.
For one of his 5 times.
Vince Russo won it October 2nd, 2000.
Great moment in the history of our great sport.
Me, September 25th and October 2nd he vacated it. But that's your wrestling.
September 25th is my birthday. Wait, so Vince Russo won the title on my birthday? Oh, that's great.
Happy birthday. Oh.
From now on, I'll call my birthday Vince Russo WCW Champion Day. I'm very excited about that. Bro.
All right. Let's talk about this because we always like to do our tops at the end of each episode.
Oh, I had news to talk about real quick. Can I talk about news real quick?
Yeah,
Can I
what
just
news?
give a rundown? First off, Minoru Suzuki beat Nick Gage by pile driving him through a door at GCW on Saturday, which was actually, if you watch the highlights of the match, pretty damn good. Minoru pulled actually a decent match out of Nick Gage. Not saying he can't, but he did pull that out. And that was a night after going toe-to-toe with Chris Dickinson in the main event of Bloodsport 7.
Yeah.
So, big weekend for Suzuki. I have to think that he has to retire at the end of this run. Like I think he's
52, I think.
the dude's wrestling 3 to 4 times a week in some grueling matches. And I know he's not he's not going to get blown up, running the ropes or anything like that, but he has taken some impacts that I can't believe I'm seeing people take. Other than that, the other fun stuff that we had this week, the big one, Okada wins the G1. And instead of which, by the way, he won the G1 in a slightly shortened match. Ibushi blew his shoulder out in the match. The match was called. Okada is the winner of the 31st G1 Climax. He is going to face Shingo Takagi for the title at Wrestle Kingdom, if Shingo still has the title at that point. But before then, he has a match against Tama Tonga, where his G1 belt, because he brought back the previous generation IWGP Championship as the briefcase, or as the contract, if you will, which looks so much better. I like the new title too, and I'm not even mad about it. But that title is the best championship I've ever seen. It's like that, the big gold belt, or that the Winged Eagle, the big gold belt, and then probably the AEW Championship. We could do that on another one, top 5 or top 3 favorite championships. But yeah, so that's set up for November 6th. And actually, so now knowing that though, Okada's going to come and wrestle on New Japan Strong in November or December, but he's going to be in California wrestling, which is actually kind of cool because I think that's his first trip to the U.S. since the War of the Worlds tours.
So. Yeah, I think so too. Also in other news, I said I was going to go off about this. I really don't feel like it at this point because this podcast has been very negative. But Charlotte Flair has got nuclear heat on her, which she rightfully deserves. There's people wanting to beat her ass. Apparently, Sonya Deville wants to whoop her ass. Becky and her got into a heated exchange to where Charlotte was escorted off of the premises by security on Friday night in the worst segment of the year, which is that stupid fucking belt exchange.
Good for Charlotte. Good for Charlotte.
But anyways, let's go on to something positive. Top 3.
Oh wow, that didn't elicit anything from you. I'm shocked.
From Clint? No. I'm actually not mad about it. I think the belt exchange thing was stupid.
It's dumb. And it sounds like Charlotte said this is dumb. We shouldn't do this. And the rumor was that Charlotte wanted Bianca to go over clean.
Mm-hmm. That is the rumor that I've read.
Which sure doesn't sound like somebody who's uncooperative. That sounds like somebody who thinks that the booking is stupid and needs to be addressed. And she's right. She's right.
She is, but there's other ways to go about it.
I mean, like, what do you do at that point? If you keep getting told, no, the belt exchange is dumb. Everybody knew it was coming. It was very clearly indicated, like, that's where this was going. They should rename the belts, right? Like, if you're going to have a WWE Heavyweight Championship and a Universal Championship, and, like, all right, you have to change the colors sometimes, like, whatever. But why have a Raw Women's Champion and a SmackDown Women's Champion? Like, just call it something else. I just don't get the point of like tying brands to the belts. Like, make it more unpredictable. Like, make it where a SmackDown superstar shows up and like calls her shot on the Raw Women's Champion and wins it, and then it's like, oh man, like, are they going to take that belt? Are there going to be 2 belts on SmackDown for the time being? And then, like, do you have both SmackDown champions show up on Raw and have like an open? I just feel like they just kind of book themselves into these corners where it's just
have her do a Medusa thing. Drop the thing in a trash can. You don't have to light it on fire, but just something like that. Why not? Why not? You want something. You give us this new, like we were talking, Clint and I were talking earlier about. You give us this new era, new rosters, new everything bullshit, and we get the same freaking thing week in and week out. You want to change something? Oh, we did a belt exchange. Big fucking deal. Who gives a shit?
Honestly,
just literally
good for Charlotte dropping the belt, and good for Becky throwing the other belt. Because you know what this did? It at least got people talking about a stupid segment that shouldn't have been happening in the first place.
Yeah.
And like, whether it's true, whether any of it's true or not, to me doesn't matter. Like, you've at least drummed up some interest, and you've now built more intrigue going into Survivor Series. So it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's that's where we're at. You had something exciting.
I agree with
SmackDown.
everything, but I also say there's other ways to go about it than disrespecting the people you're working with.
So whatever happened between her and Becky is between her and Becky. I think the way to approach the booking is don't take it out on your fellow workers, but find a good way to take it out on the booker. And I think she was more triggered on, or I think she was more focused on taking out the booker than the thing on her and Becky. If they're actually good friends like that, I'm sure they called each other and talked about that shit afterwards. But you know, in the heat of the moment in a business that's so driven by who's on top and publicity, shit's bound to happen. And you know what? Fucking turn it. Use it for what it is. If Vince has got a shred left of what Vince used to be, he'll fucking turn this into something good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, are we good now?
Yeah. Sorry.
I actually have some news.
Finishing moves.
You have some news?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
All right, this is how we're finishing it off. I refuse to stay on for 3 hours tonight. So I'm pushing things a little quickly tonight.
Who wants to go first? I'm up. I'll go first. What is that you said? My number 3, because I've yet to determine a number 1 on this. My top 3. Number 3 is the paradigm shift. It's not as protective or effective as it once was, but it's still goddamn beautiful. Because is there anything better than just a simple ass DDT that just drives somebody's skull into the mat?
A nice elevated one.
Yeah. Well, it looks like something you could hit on somebody in public. It looks like a real thing that you could do to somebody and actually hurt them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's other stuff that's cool, like a one-wing angel's cool, but it's really just a back bump. I mean, and this is you're driving somebody's skull into the earth or ring or whatever it is. And Moxley is just the dude that just puts it, because if you don't get up for him, he will make you get up for it.
Yeah. I'll go. Number 3. It's a finishing maneuver used by everyone. It is the surprise roll up. I don't think there's a move more devastating in professional wrestling right now than the surprise roll up. You see it once, twice, hell, even 7 times during a WWE show. That is how devastating that maneuver is that everyone uses it and it always works.
You know how badly I want to play "Shut the fuck up" right now to you?
The surprise roll up. That's why I'm in charge of everything. You can't do it to me.
If we were setting this up the right way, we should be doing points based on how many matches end by these finishers. Because I would say if there's one that's going to get more wins than the surprise roll up, it would be the DQ finish, which the WWE likes to do. But I'm not going to go with that because I'm not lazy. Let me go with keep it topical. And I'm putting it number 3 because there's only one guy who I think is capable of doing it at the level that he does. I'm going to go with the Black Mass.
Yeah, a good striking finish is always really good.
To me, it's the best finishing move, but it's not something that you can replicate as easily with anyone else. Like, if you think about if you were gonna like fight your buddy, many of us are not going to get our leg up that high. The only person that Black hasn't been able to hit it on was Dustin Rhodes in that one match. It hit him in the shoulder. That's a big. Yeah. That's a very tall man. So we'll give him a pass. But yeah, Black Mass. We're gonna number 3. Number 3.
Ethan with your number 2.
Yeah, my number 2 is Black Mass. So that's everything that Russell. It's once again realism here. If somebody got caught by that in real life, knock the fuck out. You're seeing stars.
You watch UFC, that shit ends fights.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's the most realistic. It's one of the most realistic looking moves there are because it's simple but real freaking effective. That's what I
got. My number 2 is the buckshot lariat. I'm a fan of a good clothesline. You know, if God bless the earth, if Brody Lee was walking in the earth today, his discus clothesline would probably be my number 2. I was always a fan of JBL's clothesline from hell. I fucking love Walter when he ends a fight with just a lariat, but the buckshot lariat is just such a cool looking move. And I like the momentum he has as he leans into that motherfucker. He puts the whole shoulder into that shit. Buckshot lariat number 2.
My number 2 is also something that is easily replicable. The RKO comes out of nowhere.
Ooh.
It's something that, like, I mean, if we're being real here, if you really latch that sucker in, doesn't matter how big or small the person you're up against is going to be, you can pull it out of nowhere. The RKO. But you have to make sure that if you do it, you get up and you do like the Orton seizure. You know?
Especially if it looks really cool. Then you just start screaming at the guy up beneath you. You're just
Yeah.
like, yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
E.
Okay.
If you do another honorable mention week, I'm going to punch you.
It's not. It's okay. It's not. There was one that I was thinking of, and I wanted to do it, and I can't. And so I guess technically, fuck it. It is an honorable mention. Kiss of Death. I like the KOD. I think it looks really cool, and especially for a women's move. I think that's fucking awesome. This is really dumb because I would have never put this on my list just because of what it is. But dude, when Edge hits Rollins with a spear, it's just great. And when Reigns hits people with a spear, it's freaking great. It's the dumbest thing ever. As long as
when Bobby Lashley hits a table with a spear,
when Bobby Lashley
great.
hits inanimate objects with spears, it's fantastic. It's
when Goldberg hits Lashley with a spear off the stage.
Nah, my God,
actually kind of okay.
It wasn't bad, but I just there's a couple of people like that when they get turned, like especially when people get turned inside out with a spear. Who was it that Reigns hit and absolutely just flipped him? Like God.
Rey Mysterio, maybe.
I couldn't even tell you, but he hit a dude with a spear and just absolutely folded him to the point where the dude flipped. I like it. Apparently mine are just really, really simple. So yeah, it's a spear. It's dumb, but it's a spear. And if it's not, it's the KOD. Because Bianca's a star, and I hate her current booking.
Clint, this is your last one, right?
Yeah, this is my last one, and it's kind of an obvious one. I've loved this finisher since the first time I saw it. It's the One Wing Angel. It's such a fucking devastating looking maneuver. Like, you're taking a guy and you're dropping him right on the back of his shoulders, his neck, his head, and no one's kicked out of it so far.
Including you.
You too, motherfucker. We broke an ottoman over that shit.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. We did.
But that's my favorite move. It's been my favorite move since I've seen it. It's always made me a fan of Kenny Omega. Fuck, if he could finish more people with the V trigger, that might be on this list. That might take Black Mass as my favorite striking finisher.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Russ.
What's the name of a Dewdrop's finisher?
I think it's called the Dewdrop.
Because that's not what I'm going with here.
Okay.
Again, a move that anyone could perform, and when it's executed properly, you actually fear that the person's dead. I like the curb stomp.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's a fucking great move. I was mad when they took that away from Rollins for a couple of years.
You kind of understand why, but at the same time, you can't argue with that.
Plus, the curb stomp set up the best RKO ever, so I've got synergy, #synergy.
Is that one really better than the Shooting Star one?
Yeah.
The Shooting Star one was really good, but I think the
WrestleMania 31
you can work out where the guy's going to be in the air, but the fact that he was able to go from almost prone position, lift up, incredible. That timing, that chemistry, you can't teach that.
Randy Orton, when he hits an RKO he's super proud of, is my favorite, because like the one he hit where he danced a little bit before he hit it on Mark Henry and it was flush, he got up and did the jumping splits. Orton's my favorite person just because he can't hide his excitement. The whole video that surfaced of when John Cena was doing a SummerSlam tour of him coming out for a dark match and Orton's just in the ring going, I love it. I love Orton. Orton.
I'd say we do top 3 RKOs next week, but I think we just covered that basis.
The only one I got to mention is the one he hit on Carlito. That was the first one out of nowhere when Carlito was doing a springboard, whatever the fuck move it was, and he ran right into that shit. Phenomenal shit.
Rest in peace, Carlito. That was tragic.
That he died there.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm like, is there news that I'm unaware of?
Yeah, that was the news that you guys buried. I was trying to get that news out before we got here. I was worried that somebody was going to pick a Carlito finisher, and
Oh yeah, he ate that same apple that Snow White did. He's lying in a glass coffin in the woods, surrounded by 7 dwarves.
Excuse you, 7 little people. Thank
7
you.
little people, Primo and Epico included.
Shut the.
Shut the fuck up!
There it is.
I've still got to edit up the Tour de Force one.
Oh, I know. So fantastic. 10. Anyway, so another great show, Russ. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, we always appreciate having you on.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I didn't want you to hijack this one. I've got to work in the morning.
If you ever want to talk hockey, I'm all game because I am psyched as all could be for Lucas Raymond and the Wings actually winning 3 games, and it took them, I can't even tell you how long to win 3 games last year. Yeah. If you ever want to talk that, just feel free to hit me up. I'm always
we can do a
something
hockey
with this
podcast
guy.
one night.
A hacky podcast.
Hacky podcast.
Where we can just all wear our favorite team shit and just argue about why each team sucks.
I'm going to get my
Yeah,
Minnesota
if
North
you
Stars
had a
hat.
hacky podcast, you would tell me, right?
Everybody would tell you that we had a hockey podcast.
By the way, I'm very upset that I wasn't here when Trevor was here. I saw his glowing face on my timeline.
It's Trevor Davis.
Yeah. Did he wear a Hawaiian shirt for the occasion? Did I see that correctly?
No.
He wore a shirt that I am 100% convinced is actually the background to Aerosmith's Permanent Vacation album cover, but it's just that. It's not an Aerosmith shirt. It's just like this dark background with like these like Hawaiian flowers on it, but it's a t-shirt.
Yeah, he bought it on T-Chip.
I wish
the discount shirt.
Yeah, I wish it was a Hawaiian shirt because I think Trevor could rock Hawaiian shirts, although he would look slightly like Dennis Nedry from Jurassic Park. What are you upset about?
Leave that poor boy alone.
I love Trevor.
I do too. Leave
Where
that
was
poor
he?
boy.
Okay, we'll leave him alone until next week. Until next time. He's our tech intern, so we got to be nice to him.
But Russ, we appreciate having you on.
Yes.
So from Russ, go ahead. From Clinton,
Ethan,
and Russ.
We appreciate you coming on a forklift, and we'll talk to you later. Bye. We love you, Judy.
Yes.
We love you, Judy. We love you, Judy.